14 years. Your amazing collection has made it here in this museum for 14 years. And in 2 days, it's going to Vicksburg, Michigan, at the hometown.
I'm thrilled that it's going to the home, and I know Herb is too, because as you noticed around here, he had a lot of things from NABA, and this was his miniature NABA museum. He knew he could never have a full one, but he promoted NABA all the while he was here.
Well, we'll have our first NABA cone top display June 7 and 8 in Vicksburg, Michigan.
Yes.
And we're going to work real hard to get everything ready, and then you're going to preside over the Haydock collection in Vicksburg, Michigan at the Hometown Brewery.
And I talked you into starting with my favorite part of the collection, right? The children.
Who do we have here?
This is the one from Jefferson, Wisconsin. You don't see a great deal of advertising from Jefferson, especially children. And with them sitting on the barrel and just beer is being sold through the children, which we couldn't do nowadays. It would be a no-no. But back then, everybody loved children like I do and you do and everybody. So they thought, that's the way to catch their eye and tell them we've got good beer. This is very, very unusual, Chris, because the little girl is with the goat for Bach, advertising a specialty in beer. They're usually just for the brewery, but she's specializing in Bach beer, which you don't see very often with the goat. And I love that because I had goats when I was little.
Oh, no, really?
I had a team of goats, and I had a goat cart, and they pulled them, and that's why I like the goat pictures too. And Herb liked Bach beers, so we had lots of things with goats and Bach beer.
Look
Now
at
this
that.
is a die cut and with children, and isn't it beautiful with the fine die cut work on it? And that one is from 1917.
1917.
Right there, 1917. But the lace work and how fragile that was, and to have survived.
And this particular framing is really fantastic because it's got that 3D
Yes,
effect.
that was one of the things Herb and I love to do together. We like to buy, buy the pieces or just the piece. And then we went to the framers and got to pick out the matting and everything, and that was something we really enjoyed doing, and we're thrilled when we saw it in this finished product. This is a yard long. It's an unusual yard long, but it has the children with each month, and they're from a different nationality on there. And for each month has a different child, and there's a stork, of course, that brings them. But that's a very unusual one. We have lots of yard longs, but that's the only one I've ever seen with the children on. And this is from the Frank Jones Brewery, and with the advertising the ale with the little girls. And of course I love the Frank Jones pieces because I was a Jones girl. That was my maiden name. So anything that we could find with Jones, then Helen had to have it, you know. Here we have another die cut from Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, now it's going back to Michigan, right?
Good.
The state of Michigan, yes. And think of them advertising beer with children going to bed in their nightgown, going upstairs. I mean, but it is lovely. And there's quite a variety in here. We mix the yard longs in between to break up the large lithos. Sometimes we displayed more of the yard longs together, but here we wanted to break up having all the lithos in one steady place, so we put yard longs in between. Yeah, we have one example that we did one, so you could see the front and you could see what was on the back. And we framed it that way so people could see what they were getting. This was a picture on the front, and their advertisement was on the back, and this is 1909. And in fact, one of the books we wrote, I cautioned collectors when they went in to buy these in antique stores and things to ask them to open up the back and let them see the back, because I bought a few that were repros, and so I was cautious. But if this is there on the back, then it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what their reasoning was. They called them yard long because of their length. And they use many different things. They have one, I think Priscilla's here someplace, and then they use a lot of the Gibson girls, very pretty things they used on those. And I thought all different clothing, different types. And they put them out almost every year, I think, the tonics for a long time. They rolled up on a roll, malt of the Pabst extract. So, and then you just unroll them and you'd have the picture, and of course the back was like, and this one we framed so you could see the back if you wanted to. And we did that, but then we put it in a shadow box effect so we could leave the roll there so people could see how you bought them.
Well, you know, at the Cone Top, we're going to have a lot of emphasis on telling stories and educating people about why things were the way they were. So these yard longs would be a good instance
Thing
of
to
that.
tell, yeah, because you would find them, you might find them in an antique store rolled up on a roll, and you'd wonder, what is this? Then you'd unroll it and you'd find that beautiful yard log. So that's why we framed a few in the shadow box effect so you could see the roll.